Welcome to Driveway DIY, where we bring the shop to you. Today we're going to show you how to replace ball joints. We're going to show you how to remove the upper and lower ball joints. First, we need to remove the brake caliper in order to gain access to all of this stuff. There's two bolts, one here and one directly underneath it on the bottom. Sometimes you need a little pry bar to free up the caliper. There we go. And we're just going to pull this out. Now we're going to pull the rotor off. First, we have to remove this cotter pin right here. So I've got a cotter pin puller. You can use pliers or a punch or something like that. Then we need a wrench. Then we can remove this nut here. So first we're going to remove this retainer nut. We're going to go ahead and remove this wire. Because we're replacing this, I'm going to go ahead and try to use our pickle fork here. See if we can get this to separate. This is where things get interesting. A lot of manufacturers used rivets to hold the ball joints in originally instead of bolts. So you have to cut these rivets out. All right, this one's coming out, so let's see if this one will come out. Use a pry bar. Okay. Then our ball joint will come out. See how destroyed that is? And this should not wiggle that easily. It should be a little tighter than that. For the lower ball joint, you can repeat the same process with a ball joint separator or a pickle fork. We're going to remove the axle nut. These are usually pretty big. This one is 36 millimeter. Save that. We've got the lower ball joint loose, so we can go ahead and push back the axle. Once we get the axle clear of the, there we go. First, we're gonna dig out all this dirt. Hit that with a little brake cleaner. Then we're gonna remove this grease fitting. So we're just not even gonna waste our time. We're gonna use this. This is hanging. We're just gonna give this a few love taps and it will come right out. Okay, so what we have here is the new ball joint. This is the grease fitting. There's a specific position for that. I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to slide the collar over. You want the collar that closest matches this. This should not slide all the way through and it should not pinch the boot. Then we're going to have this installer tool. You want it to sit inside this collar so that everything is captured. That comes up here through the bottom. There's a little notch right here. That's where that grease fitting goes. One thing that's really important is you want this to go in as straight as possible. So this is a 1/2-inch drive impact. It's got about 1,000 pound-feet of torque. See what we can do with this. Now our lower ball joint is installed. Very important, the grease fitting. You want to get this nice and snug, but don't over tighten it because you can break these very easily. We're ready to put the knuckle back on. We've got our axle ready. Axle goes on first. Throw the castle nut on. Just a couple threads to hold it. Throw that washer on there. Then get that nut started. The upper ball joint comes with a selection of bolts and nuts, along with a new cotter pin and a grease fitting. I'll drop this bad boy right there. I'm gonna slide these up from the bottom. Okay, then I'm not gonna tighten these just yet. I'm gonna go ahead and set the spindle in place. See if we can get enough stud on the bottom. Now we're gonna tighten these. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put in our grease fitting there. We've got the castle nut lined up with the hole in the stud. I'm going to slide a new cotter pin in there. Just kind of bend that over just like that. Torque the lower ball joint. And we take the next cotter pin. We're going to stick it in here and fold this down. Then we're going to slide our rotor onto the new hub. And now we can install the brake caliper. Get the caliper bolts aligned with the caliper mount bracket. All right, and then we're gonna tighten up our brake caliper bolts. Last step, grease the ball joint. So we're gonna grease the upper and the lower. So we're using an electric grease gun. You can use a regular hand-operated grease gun as well. The key to this is you wanna hold pressure on the grease fitting, and you're kinda gonna look at the boot. You want that boot to swell up a little bit. That means it's getting filled. We're gonna go ahead and lube this one. And that's all there is to replacing your ball joints. Find all the parts you need to get the job done at ebaymotors.com.